Marvel superstar Chris Pratt is defending President Trump? What? And on the Bill Maher show? Oh, come on. No, it's true, folks. And today we'll tell you why it must have some of his fellow co-stars losing their absolute minds. Mark Ruffalo, health check on Mark Ruffalo. Let's dive in, folks. We'll go there right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to yet another video of pure excellence right here on the Pro Show, where all we know to do is to give you the golden info nobody else is sharing just quite yet. As we get ready to dive in, click the like button, and yet again, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, out of Mediaite, it looks like Chris Pratt is doing some things that are not going to make his Marvel co-stars happy. It could be why we're not hearing anymore that Chris Pratt is going to be involved in some of the Avengers stuff at the level that we originally thought. We're going to talk about it. Here we go. By Jennifer Bowers Bainey, Kennedy in-law, that's RFK, family member Chris Pratt tells Bill Maher he doesn't get into the political weeds at family gatherings. Well, that's an interesting way to say it. Actor Chris Pratt told Bill Maher's Club Random that he stays away from politics and doesn't pick in-law Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s brain when they're hanging out at home. Pratt is married to Catherine Schwarzenegger, whose mother Maria is first cousin to RFK Jr. Shriver has been critical of the Trump administration's effort to rename the Kennedy Center and recently backed up her cousin Caroline, who vehemently opposed RFK Jr.'s nomination to become Secretary of Health and Human Services. But Pratt had this to say in his magnanimous way, quote, "In politics, you inherit enemies. And when you jump on the bandwagon with you know who's the most divisive president ever, it makes sense that you're going to be made to look terrible," Pratt said about RFK Jr. It goes on to talk about what he said, but folks, I'd rather just show it to you. And here's what it is. Jason Cohen is hosting this over on X via the Daily Caller. We'll just play it, folks. Here's Bill Maher and Chris Pratt. I dare say that you're going to find out that Star-Lord is defending the Orange Man.
Jump on on the bandwagon with who is the most divisive president ever. It makes sense that you're going to be made to look terrible. And so I don't know what to believe, because it's not like I sit with Bobby and I go, so, hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. It's like we're just playing cards or playing Mafia or having fun or having dinner. I'm not going to pick his brain to find out exactly which of those things are true. I just kind of assume that none of them are. And for the most part, I wish him well, man. I hope there's certain things that he...
Let's just pause there, guys. Do you all remember when the Avengers cast did their Down with Democracy thing? Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yes.
Chris Pratt was not involved in that. Chris Pratt, listen, can you imagine how Mark Ruffalo's head might explode? Not literally, YouTube. No, not literally. Can you imagine the little gray rain cloud that is over the top of Mark Ruffalo when he hears Chris Pratt say basically a defense of President Trump and RFK Jr., saying that, on the good stuff, how could you not support him? That's amazing to me that he's going out of his way to say that. Panel, any thoughts on it before I continue on?
Yeah, not to down your point at all, but were any of the Guardians involved in that little campaign there? Were they standing by Chris Pratt when doing that, or just weren't invited? I don't know.
Okoye was there.
Yeah, you're right.
It's very, very interesting. But
isn't he now the only remaining bankable star for Marvel?
Well, and we've heard reports that he was going to be possibly coming to the Avengers. We'll get to that in just a minute. Let's finish out the clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Overseas that seem to be supported in a bipartisan way, like getting terrible toxic stuff out of our kids' food. I think that's a great thing. And so, if you do that, that's amazing. I'd hate to be so mired in hatred for the president that any success from his administration is something I'd have an allergic reaction to. To be like, oh, well, if they do it, I don't want it to happen. I'll put Clorox in my children's cereal myself.
And he gets Bill Maher to laugh, which is, fantastic. Okay, so let's walk through what I had been hearing. I had been hearing through a very reputable source that I've got, although it was rumor and speculation, that Chris Pratt was somebody that Marvel was eyeballing to maybe be sort of the front for the new Avengers stuff. And then I'm now being told that looks less likely. And surprisingly, it may be because Amazon wants Chris Pratt for a multi-movie contract, and they're willing to pay whatever it takes to get him. Now, again, that's rumor and speculation territory, But if you're Chris Pratt, and you're looking at where Marvel's at and you're looking at where your politics are, you might just say to yourself, hey, I don't know what I've got in common with some of these people that just spout the left talking points nonstop. But I find it fascinating that Chris Pratt is defending RFK and the Orange Man out loud, openly. Really, it's an interesting thing from a Hollywood celebrity. Ron, I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on this? And is Chris Pratt going to get Gina'd? Is Chris Pratt going to get Dean Caned?
They can't. After what happened with Gina just recently, after her winning her settlement, getting whatever it is that she wanted out of that, she apparently got, because it was settled. I don't think they can do that to Chris Pratt. Now, it would make sense that Chris could say no, because I think that he's the one with all the clout right now. I mean, I know he wasn't in the last Jurassic movie, but the whole series before that, the 3 movies of the Jurassic World, he was in those. He's literally represented at both Universal and Walt Disney World parks. He's in media at both of them on several different attractions. He's a generally likable guy. There is a small percentage fringe element on the left who's tried to cancel him for things that don't even make sense. I think he once gave credit to God for his for his life or whatever. I mean, it's things like that. Yeah, how are you going to cancel a guy over stuff like that? It doesn't make any sense. That used to happen when I was growing up in the Oscars. It was like, every single one of them. That's the first thing they do was thank God for that. But like now you can't do it. That's ridiculous. He seems to also get along well with all of his co-stars on the set, which I think is probably huge in Hollywood. Not causing trouble on the set, having fun, getting along, having a good time. It would be a strange thing. Like, I still think the ball is in his court as far as what happens with the Avengers movies coming up. And to be honest with you, having just watched the 3 Guardians movies in a row, I wanted to see how they played if I just watched them as a trilogy without the stuff in between, without the Infinity War, without the other stuff. And the movies play really well as a trilogy, and that's all Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is such a great leader of the Guardians, and his charm, his charisma, that all comes forward. It also is that huge snippet right at the end is like Star-Lord will return. So I kind of feel like they have to bring him back somehow. And I don't know what role he plays as Star-Lord in the Avengers movies coming up. But I mean, at this point in time, Marvel's got nothing to lose by bringing him back, because they've already lost pretty much all that they can by not having him, and they can't go forward with Pedro. Pedro's not winning them anything.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I think that I think they probably have Chris Pratt signed to something minor. I think they wanted to increase that. It sounds to me like that Amazon, kind of shockingly, is the one that's going after Chris Pratt and saying, we're going to do whatever it takes to get you for a multi-movie deal. You would have thought that he would have gone to James Gunn. By the way, James Gunn is no fan of the Orange Man administration. And yet, Chris Pratt, a lot of people don't know this, he basically saved James Gunn's career. I mean, it was Chris Pratt that was the one who said he was going to pray about it, then came in and saved the day for James Gunn when he was taking fire. Let's go now. I want to show you sort of a comparison. I'm going to show you Chris Pratt, what he had to say recently about his faith, and then we'll compare his message and who that's going out to versus the rest of the cast of the Avengers movie coming up. Here's Chris Pratt.
I was baptized Catholic, and we weren't a big church-going family. And I had a few different moments through the course of my life where I really felt called to God and gave my heart to Jesus. The most impactful moment was when my son was born. He was born early and had some health scares, and in that moment really made some deals with God, and as you do when you're praying. And I felt like if you save my son,
I will give you everything. I'll give you.
So there's Chris Pratt and his faith journey. And I don't want to make a claim about any of the Avengers actors and their faith journeys, but the politics might be slightly different. Here's their "Say Down with Democracy and Tear Down Democracy" ad they did for Kamala Harris. Here's what that looked like. We'll play it briefly and then get commentary on it.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey, Scarlett.
Jumping on the call.
Whoa. I think you mean assembling. I said assembling. Don, that's pretty good. No, they thought it was funny.
Scarlett, it is our pleasure to come together and to get the vote out this election. Come on.
Yeah, how can we be of service?
Well, how about we start with what our voting plans are going to be, who we're going to bring to the polls with us, that sort of thing.
I think Kamala Harris needs a catchphrase.
Ooh, yes, definitely a catchphrase.
How about this? I'm just off the top of my head. I can do this all day.
Shut up. I hate it.
Okay.
I mean, it's original, but
what about something punchier like, oh, boom. You looking for this? Iron Man 2, everybody loved it.
Okay, again, I think we're just trying to get out the vote.
Kamala forever.
That's better.
Okay, how about I'm down with democracy? It's just clean, it's simple.
Okay, I like that.
It's hard to argue with that.
Kamala Harris, down with democracy.
Oh, yeah. I'm Kamala Harris, and I say down with democracy.
All right, let's pause it there.
I can't believe she didn't win. That's amazing. Right there.
Did they even get the joke? I don't even know. I feel like they still didn't get it.
It's a struggle for us to, be sure it is a joke. Jonathan, I got a feeling Chris Pratt would struggle a little bit now because I don't think there's room for you to say what he said with Bill Maher, which is that when Trump does good, give him credit. When RFK does good, if he doesn't, okay, go the other way. I don't think that's allowed in the circles of Mark Ruffalo.
Oh no. I'm sure like they're having an existential conflict within themselves about like, can I even be on screen with this guy anymore? Right? They find it incredibly I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. It takes a certain type of fortitude to be with somebody you disagree with, but they don't have it, right? They are incapable of actually like having. They're
totally intolerant.
They're totally intolerant. And Chris Pratt, right? The difference is right. Those Avengers we saw in that commercial, that's who they surround themselves with. They're in their own little echo chamber, in their Hollywood echo chamber. Chris Pratt clearly doesn't surround himself with those kinds of people, and I think that's why he's capable of saying the things he says on Bill Maher, and that's why. I mean, what did I see? The Terminal List, the 3-year-old show is like ranking like number 3 on Amazon right now. It's doing so well because granted the sequel's coming out, but people want to see Chris Pratt still. And so I think the reason that one, he can say that, and two, that Amazon is probably wanting him a lot is because they realize like he's kind of one of the last bankable stars right now too, that people will want to watch. I think people are done seeing this here and everybody likes Chris Pratt, right? Everything he's touched recently has done really, really well. So why not go with him instead of Robert Downey Jr., right? And Pedro Pascal and all the other stuff. But it's just a pleasure to see him and to see somebody who's willing to say the things that are on their mind without the specter of being canceled in Hollywood, because he can't be canceled. He's one of the guys right now who can't. It's not possible.
It's kind of crazy because Ron brought it up originally, and I wanted to go ahead and elaborate on that point. I've seen nobody. And I've been covering theme parks a long time, but I've seen no celebrity featured in every single major theme park resort from the big 2 companies on both coasts. He's represented in Jurassic World River Adventure at Universal Studios Hollywood, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout at Disney California Adventure, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, and Velocicoaster over there at Islands of Adventure at Universal Studios Orlando Resort. I mean, it's just absolutely mind-blowing how much representation he actually gets in the theme park space. But more than that, though, he gets that because he is a big bankable actor, a big bankable star, and he does bring people to the theater. Maybe not to the extent that Robert Downey Jr. does, granted. But I think he is definitely a big-time draw. And I believe staying out of the fray, as Jonathan was mentioning, of politics or stuff that is maybe necessarily controversial. I understand, the left, fringes of the left might have.
I don't listen, Vash. I don't mind anybody taking a political stance. I don't, but the thing about those the Avengers stuff that we watched, It's just dumb. Like, who comes up with who says down with democracy to promote your candidate?
It's cringe, and it's actually bad, not well acted considering the talent.
Well, this is what happens when those guys don't have a script.
Well, and Ron, this is what was mind blowing. That they used the iconography and the phraseology of Marvel to promote it. And that Disney didn't say, hey, guys, now, we all know why Disney didn't do that, but any normal, sane corporation would have said, hey, guys, we pay you to be these characters. We don't want you to use these characters in a political fashion.
Right.
Keep it separate.
Yeah, you would actually think that would be in their contract.
You would think.
Like that, because you should not take something that is beloved by a huge crowd, and then we're going to now ostracize at least half the audience by associating the Avengers as they've been seen on screen in the MCU with one particular side of the political aisle. It doesn't matter whether it's right or left. You just shouldn't do it.
Well, luckily, Ron, it had no impact, and Marvel's doing just fine this year.
Or it did. I think it had an impact. I don't think it had an impact in the right direction.
You would think that as an actor, like a Chris Evans or an RDJ or some of the bigger players in the Marvel space, that you almost be like brand ambassadors, and that would come with a certain amount of responsibility right there. You would think it would be enshrined in a contract, but just generally speaking, hey, let's not go ahead and utilize our characters in this fashion, like Bro was actually saying. And to Chris's credit, he's really never utilized his character in order to push a political cause on people, at least that I can find anyway. And his stances, I mean, look at the stance that he had with Bill Maher just now. It wasn't about, hey, I'm a big Trump supporter, I love what he's doing. He was just saying, hey, look, listen, I wouldn't want to hate the guy to the degree that even when he does something good, that I poo-poo that just because of political bias or whatever. So even that was very measured and calculated, and I think it's the smarter move when it comes to Hollywood.
We'll try this on for size. So I'd love to hear what everybody on the panel thinks about this. If right now Marvel announced, let's say tomorrow, Marvel comes out and announces that Chris Pratt will be reprising the role of Star-Lord and that he will be the head of the Avengers in the next movies, how much does the box office go up from that?
I think it would help a lot. I don't think he's a name that we've seen. First of all, the chair thing that they did was such an embarrassment. I think they were trying to call back to something that had happened earlier in the MCU, and it just was like, what did they take like 5 hours to roll that out? I didn't watch that whole 5 hours, but apparently they rolled it out over a 5-hour period and then ended up with RDJ at the end. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's more especially ridiculous since there's been no build up to this next Avengers movie that's coming out like there was when there was a huge build up to Infinity War. The amount of loss that they could potentially take on these next couple Avengers movies is incredible. And they need to do something about it. I don't know what they do. I don't even know what they would do with Chris Pratt. I have no idea where they go with the story, but they definitely need to do something, because right now, after Fantastic Four, I don't think there's any interest left in Marvel, and Spider-Man's not going to save it. Spider-Man's not even a legit Avenger. He's on the outside right now.
By the way, did you see, Pro, when Chris Pratt was asked about appearing in the Avengers? I believe it was either Secret War or Doomsday, on the red carpet, what his reaction was?
I have not seen that. Do you have it?
I do. Let me see if I can bring that up here.
Grab that, and while you do, I'll go to Jonathan and say, Jonathan, we live in an upside down world right now. Excuse me. We live in an upside down world right now because I don't know what kind of crazy place this is that a guy who talks about his faith regularly is going on the Bill Maher show and they're laughing and having a good time, yucking it up about supporting Trump. I mean, what is this? I mean, that is, if you told me 5 years ago that's what would be happening on the Bill Maher show, but it's why Bill Maher is still on the air, and Stephen Colbert is going bye-bye.
Yeah, I think that the lies that the media foisted on everybody over the last, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, I think those have been exposed. And so now when anybody speaks truth, whether it's Bill Maher, whether it's Chris Pratt, I think that starts cutting through the noise more. And so I think that's what we're seeing. You see it more on YouTube with channels. You see it more in podcasts like this, like Megyn Kelly getting huge numbers, starting her own network too. And so I think that's what we're seeing. The fall of the lies, the fall of people being willing to believe them all the time. And that's, we go back to like that. That's really why Trump won, is that, people were like, we don't just believe what we're being told anymore. That's not true. And so when Chris Pratt is willing to speak the truth like that, I think that's what we're starting to see. It's cutting through the noise. Yeah,
and Megyn Kelly has something like 90 million views a month on her channel.
Good, serious. Oh, dude. Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Vash, you've got the interview with Chris Pratt. Let's bring that up on the screen.
Absolutely. Here
To
you
see
go.
Oh,
I know that. I know. Hi there. Hi.
So what's that? That's it was quick, but you can see
play
that
it again for us, Vash. Play it again. I think the audience will benefit from that. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Fans would love to see you reteam with the Russos.
Oh, I know that. I know. Hi there. Hi.
It was very quick.
I'm going to answer that.
It makes one wonder, because as I've said, I believe that he is, I'm in rumor territory, but I believe that he signed with a minor contract. The word on the street was that they were, Marvel's panicked. Pedro's not going to carry the movie. They had to get somebody else. And RDJ is going to be half the film. Who's the other half? Chris Pratt was the guy that they might be going after. But again, Amazon seems to be, and Amazon's got some money. Bezos got some bigger than Bob Iger bucks. And they are bringing truckload after truckload to try to get Chris Pratt and his schedule for the next long while. All right, folks, that's where we'll leave it for now. But Bill Maher, again, sitting in the center, the mainstream middle, and that's where money is made. That's how Bill Maher is buttering his bread and not being left for dead in late night. And folks, we have come to the end yet again. Another video of excellence in the can. What a joy it has been to share time with you. We hope you enjoyed it as well. If so, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. And as always, drop a comment down below. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. Join a community dialogue today, just on down below. Folks, we are going to say farewell for now, but we will see you back. 4 is more, and that's how many videos we put out every single day here on the Pro Channel. Hope you enjoy them all. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Jump into the water! Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.